about, businesses and nuisances. And I was saying, call and write and, make yourself known and heard. And just like what he said, you have to call and write and make yourself known. I mean, that one vote changes everything. It does. No, if we wouldn't recognize it or not, I mean, one vote changes everything. And so, understanding kind of that piece is important, as you, as community people, as me, as someone like, he's someone who I'm going to call because he's a state rep. And to make my voice known about issues that I'm concerned about. But to not belabor this any longer, because I did say this was a 10 to 11:30 meeting, we do have another candidate, and it is Stanley Moore. He is currently the Cook County Commissioner for the 4th District, so he's going to come up and talk to you guys for a little bit. And I think in the most recent newsletter that's out here, I think we've listed all the numbers for, important numbers, which include all the representatives and senators who represent the 7th Ward. So,
hello, everyone. I am your Cook County Commissioner of the 4th District. The 4th District is vast. I want you to know exactly how big the district is. We go all the way from Kedzie, Evergreen Park, all the way to the lake. We run all the way along 83rd Street until we get to the 7th Ward, where we go all the way to South Shore Country Club. Then we go all the way to Lansing. So we have South Holland, Lansing, Calumet City, Vernon, Dalton. So all those suburban areas we make into the 4th District. We also include these wards: 6th Ward, 7th Ward, 8th Ward, 9th Ward, the 10th Ward, 21st Ward, and a small piece of the 18th Ward. So, and no, they took it out. The new map doesn't include the 34th. So, a very vast district, very large. So everywhere I go, I like to start out by asking people, do they know what the Cook County Commissioner does? No. And I get that response everywhere I go. So it's our responsibility to let you know what we do. We collect $3.2 billion of your tax dollars. And then we make sure that that money is spent in Cook County services. And when I say Cook County services, if someone gets sick and they don't have health insurance, what hospital do they go to? That's what your taxes are paying for. Stroger Hospital, Providence Hospital, Oak Forest Hospital. And if a person gets arrested, where do they send them? Cook County Jail. So now you understand that all of those budgets, I'm responsible. My job is to make sure that we appropriate the right amount of money and resources to each one of those type of entities so that they can operate and function appropriately. One of the problems that you're going to hear about coming up very shortly is I'm sponsoring legislation to give the authority to the president of the Cook County Board, Tony Pretman, the authority to put together a judicial committee that will hear individual cases and release inmates to relieve population at Cook County Jail. We have a serious problem going on. Does everybody like to pay taxes? Nobody likes to pay taxes, right? So what do you think is going to happen if we have to build a brand new jail? You're going to pay for it. Your taxes are going to pay for it. And right now, state law says that if we go over 10,000 inmates, we have to build a new jail. We're at 9,995. Okay? It is ridiculous, the amount of people that are housed at Cook County Jail. 90% of the people at Cook County Jail are there for non-violent offenses. Non-violent offenses. That means Cook County right now has the esteemed record of saying that we are the largest supplier of mental health services in the nation. That's terrible. People with mental disorders shouldn't be locked up and thrown away heat. They need services. They need to be seen by professionals. But instead, what we do is we lock them up. So right now, our jail population is exploding. And right now, there's a problem with setting the bonds. The bonds are so high that people can't afford to make payments. So they can't get out. So everyone that's sitting at Cook County Jail is what we call a pretrial detainee. And a pretrial detainee means that they're just sitting there waiting to go to court. They haven't been seen by a judge, nor have they been found guilty. So we have to do something quickly. It's an emergency at this point, because we're going to have to raise taxes exorbitantly if we have to build a new jail. So we have to relieve that system. So what we're proposing right now is the sheriff, Tom Dart, has constitutional authority to release a certain amount of inmates to relieve the pressure before they go over the 10,000 threshold. But what's taking place is, as the sheriff has eloquently put, I'm a jailer. My job is to lock people up, not let people go. And then the courts are saying, well, our job is to, the judge can either let you go or lock you up or put you on electronic monitoring or so on and so forth. But for some reason, it's not happening. There's a breakdown somewhere in the implementation. So what the president is proposing is saying, look, if the sheriff doesn't want to do it, the judge doesn't want to do it, then let me do it. I'll take responsibility, and I'll put together a panel of judges, retired judges, who will hear these cases on an individual basis and will determine whether or not a person should be put on electronic monitoring. Because what's happened now is we used to do a lot of electronic monitoring. Remember with the ankle bracelets? They don't do them anymore. They're not being done at a rate that would relieve the pressure of the jail. So we have a major problem on our hands in Cook County. It's one of the problems that I'm working on. We have too many young African American men and women who are locked up in Cook County Jail on frivolous things that make absolutely no sense. We're destroying the fabric of the family. And I'll tell you why we're destroying the fabric of the family. I'll give you an instance. A young man I know who makes a little more than minimum wage, who's raising 2 children, has a wife, and works every day, was arrested for driving on a suspended license. Okay, he doesn't make a lot of money. He's got family to take care of. So when he got arrested, the call I got was from his wife. She said, you got to help me. I got to get my husband out of jail. I said, well, why won't they let him go? She said, because he can't make bail. I said, well, how much is his bail? She said, I need $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what it was he had a driver's suspended license and then failed to appear in court. So you got those 2 incidents and then combine them and whatever happened. So anyway, I said, $5,000. I don't know a lot of people that don't have $5,000. And so what happens when he doesn't show up for work the next day? He loses his job. So then he has to sit his court day. I said, well, when's his court day? She said 3 weeks. So he has to sit in jail for 3 weeks because he doesn't make bail. So guess who's paying for him to be there for 3 weeks? You. And $147 a day. Medical, dental, all those other things that they're charging you for, and because they're seeing him while he's in it. So there's a lot of cases like that. A lot of them. Most times we think that everybody that's locked up in county jail is a danger to society. It's not necessarily true. So, yes, ma'am.
Sorry to interrupt you, but why aren't we doing more of the electronic monitoring? Why would that?
That is a $1 million question. Because the sheriff has the resources. We appropriated more money into the budget for them to hire probation officers that could go around and check the electronic monitoring. So the sheriff says the judge isn't ordering electronic monitoring. The judge says the sheriff can order electronic monitoring. So it's a lot of this going back and forth. So in the meantime, we have to figure out what we're going to do. Because my job as a Cook County Commissioner is to protect the taxpayer's dollar. So in the meantime, while you 2 are fighting, we're going to have to build a new jail. So something has to be done. So these are the type of issues that I'm dealing with every day at the Cook County Board. I could go on for hours. I don't want to talk.
And when you speak of mental illness, and they have a large portion of the inmates are mentally ill, and then they close down mental But you have these people in jail, you're paying for it.
Now, let me tell you the bureaucracy. You're going to love this part. This is what's great about these type of meetings. I'm glad that Alderman has us here today, because what you've seen today, without even really thinking about it, was the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois with Christian Mitchell, and Cook County. You've seen all three levels of government, right? So what happens is all three levels of government have different duties. So the state appropriates money to build mental health facilities, right? So that's the whole argument that they had with the alderman and the governor. The alderman, the mayor was saying, you can't close the mental health facilities in Chicago. The governor was saying, well, we don't have the money to keep funding. So when he cuts the funding, the mayor has no choice but to close the mental health facility. And then those patients come to Cook County.
Okay.
Three levels of government.
Okay, but you said we have these tax dollars that are in our community, and we have many of these people from our communities. Why can't day facilities be open for these people? Where they can go get
They're all going to argue over who's going to pay for it. Like our dollars right now are paying for it. And that's what we want to do. If we can relieve the burden and allow some of these people to leave the jail, what the county is going to pay for is the electronic monitoring. We'll pay for the electronic monitoring because it's not being done. I know you're talking about mental health.
Yeah,
That's
because
a
they
state issue.
create the mental health issue is a state
It's a
issue.
state issue. The state clinics are only controlled and funded by the state.
And the county could not create any.
We don't have enough money.
I mean, as a part of their counties.
We don't have enough money. We are right now just balanced on hospital funds. Because if you think about what Cook County does, everybody that comes to Cook County Hospital, we pay for it. And now, thanks to Obama, we have Obamacare and county care, which help us balance our budget. So we just got our budget.
Without a mental health component. There should be a mental health component.
Oh, I agree with you. But all three governments need to work together to make it happen. One body of government can't pay for everything. I agree with you. Yes, sir.
So, by the numbers, if we go over the threshold of 10,000 inmates, we're going to bankroll the prison, right? So that money, like she said, that's where the money is. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to answer.
The law tells us how we have to spend that money. The law says if we go over that threshold, we have to build a new jail. Not open up mental health.
So since it's our tax dollars, who has to say how that money is being spent?
It's
Based on
written by the Constitution. The Constitution says if we go over that threshold, that money has to be appropriated to a new jail. And what's going to happen when we build a new jail? We're going to lock up another 10,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to do that. Yes, ma'am, in fact.
The question is, nowadays, humans are in great mind. That's where most of the money is going into healthcare, hospice, all kinds of issues. What I want to know is why you say you spend $145 a day supporting
I support
a
it.
person,
Paying for their living expenses.
supporting someone living in jail as opposed to building facilities that's going to help them get back into the community or help them to regain their mental stability. Who is profiting off the prisons? They have to first build the prisons. Who's profiting from the building of the building? Who's profiting from all of the beds and cots and what have you that are supplied? Who's profiting?
Let me address that issue. You're absolutely right. There's another big issue that's a little different from the issue I'm talking about. But here's the issue that you're talking about. There are people, companies, that are making fortunes off of these inmates that are in jail. And you're right. Like right now, the telecommunication, the phone, is a major issue I was younger, we used to call them collect. Now, there's home cards in the jail. Well, there's a company that's out of state that provides that service that's making this money. And they set the rules and regulations on how this money is spent. So when I found out about that, I said, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. And so, and then you can, I think the first 5 or 10 minutes, don't quote me because I forgot, I looked at it months ago. The first 5 or 10 minutes of the connection is like $20. Just to connect, $20. And then there's a certain amount that you pay per minute after that. So I said, please stop this, because this is ridiculous. This makes no sense at all. And then you can only talk for, guess what, 15 minutes. So if your conversation needs to be a 20-minute conversation, you need to hang up and call back, which is an additional $20 charge. So you're absolutely right. I want you to understand that.
Okay, but how many of these companies are owned by black people?
Oh, I got it.
How much money is coming back into the black community because they are housing our black people as a whole? I mean, to me,
It's a business. It's a business. They turn these deals into a business.
it is. And you know what? Because I worked in Bloomington, Illinois, and what they do with white children in those little areas, they do something wrong, do drugs, or whatever crime they commit, except murder. They pat them on their bottom and send them home and tell them, boy, you better behave yourself. I'm going to tell your parents. But us, our children, like you say, the poor guy has a family to support. He's driving on a suspended license.
Suspended license.
So what is the sense of locking this man up? Then he loses his job. They discontinued welfare in the sense that we knew about it years ago. So it seems to me as if the federal government as a whole, and that covers the state level, the county, the city, county, state, and federal government, as if though they're trying to keep black people under control. And I love everybody.
Are you ready to do Jim Crow?
No, I haven't.
Go buy that book. That is a powerful book.
So why are our politicians feeding into this? Why aren't they saying, oh no, we're going to have to stop that? You all have the power to stop some of these issues, or you just have to go along with what's being done?
That's why I'm here today, telling you what I'm working on. That's why I'm passing the ordinance that we're going to take over the authority, if the federal court allows us, that we're going to take over the authority to control who goes in and out of that jail.
Okay, so
Yes,
we're going to see less people, less black people.
If we have to have the federal court has to give us authority. So I can't control the federal court, but we have passed it at the county budget. It passed. All the commissioners voted in support of my ordinance to send this to the federal court to ask them to give us the authority. So that's done.
Okay, because one more thing around the town. Why can't the prisoners learn how to make beds?
Make what?
Make beds, manufacture beds. They're not doing anything else. So they're
You got 4 definitions.
So why can't you teach them how to do that? I think they make the license plates now.
I don't know if that's
I don't even think they do that.
And build it. I can tell prisoners in prison. They come out and their abs are just sensational.
And this young lady mentioned something up front. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. The county jail is different from the state
Right.
In the county jail, you don't spend 10, 20 years in the county jail. The county jail is for pre-trial detainees waiting to go to court. And once they go to court, if they're found guilty, then they go to prison. And that's more like we were saying in Bloomington, those are prisons. Different situation, but I'm responsible for only one, the county jail.
Okay, we got like 3 more
I'm
questions.
sorry.
I know we have another
Young
presentation.
lady
I know
right
she
here.
had a question. She is.
Really quickly, because I know about you talked about the bureaucracy, it seems as though we have a lot of issues in that. But there's a lot of, and I can be totally out of the box about this, but there's a lot of information going around about TIF money and how these corporations are getting TIF money. Now, I understand it's 2 different separate branches of government here, but if you go put this committee together, would there be some of an issue to bring to the table and say, okay, you're giving all these corporations like what now, Holmes, Committeemen, they're coming in for a year, right, but they're not required to build a building, they're not required to do very much of anything, but they can hand in money. So, as a lot of other entities have. So, would it make, I don't know if you could even bring this to the table, but if that's money that's going to be handed out to corporations who don't have to invest in the community anyway, and that's part of our property tax dollars, is that maybe a viable option to maybe sit down with this committee and rebuild it and say, listen, is there any way we might be able to fund TIF dollars towards maybe building maybe mental health facility or some type of other facility to kind of keep some crowding in this one particular area. And TIF's money is supposed to help lighted areas. I guess it's supposed to only help lighted areas.
I don't think the building or structure is the issue. I think the operation and management is the issue. That's where you get into millions of dollars. Hiring the doctors, hiring the staff, hiring all the people that take the programs and the
About the
equipment.
services, so then is it something that city government needs to talk to county government and say, listen, is there a way that we might be able to fund some of these funds to help these people who need these services in these communities? If they're living in private communities, I don't know if it would be the same, but that would have to be the talk between the governments and cities.
The mayor, the governor, and the county board president are in communication. We're trying to figure out what to do about that issue. But in the meantime, me and the aldermen on our level, we have to do what we can do to effectuate that change. And, to get mental health facilities funded and built, that's the governor's issue. And on my issue is dealing with Cook County Services, dealing with the Cook County Hospital, dealing with the Cook County Jail. That's what I was elected to do, and that's what I'm working on right now. So it's a much bigger issue than we would like to make it out to. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Stanley. I have a question. What would you determine for an individual that would be non-jail time? I understand exactly what you're saying when you say that the gentleman was had $5,000 bail because he was driving on a suspended license. But we say, well, man, that's already high for someone to be driving on a suspended license. Well, my question to you is, he also New Jim Crow. The author is Michelle Alexander. She's an African-American attorney and has established books to tell about